Welcome back to the UTEP Dynasty, everybody. And the Miners are 4-3 heading into week 9 of season 2. And after maybe the biggest win of the season over UNLV and Malachi Nelson, 38-36, we now enter an interesting stretch where we face arguably the 3 worst teams in the conference back to back to back. We start with the winless Wyoming Cowboys on the road. And we will start with the football at the 24-yard line. Rich Belin in the shotgun with Raleek Brown to his left. He'll hand it off, and Brown will be dumped in the backfield by Dash Bauman. 2nd and 12, and we'll go back to a 2nd and 17 thanks to a false start. Here is Belin with a clean pocket underneath for Wanda Mae Davis for a gain of 5. 3rd down and 12, Rich Belin protected again and puts it up there for Jimmy Childress, but the 5'7", 5'8" true freshman isn't big enough to absorb that hit. It's a quick 3 and out and a punt from Noah Botsford. And breaking free on the return is Eric Richardson, nearly all the way back to the original line of scrimmage, and a big return, putting Wyoming in great starting field position. Darius McIver, the running back, number 83, one of their highest rated players, gains 2, and now here's Philip Rush, hit from behind and nearly got it to his receiver, but it's knocked free by Messiah Delhomme. 3rd down and 8 for Rush. All day in the pocket, he's going to step up and run and pick it up. A gain of 13 on the scramble. And the Cowboys have it at the 19. A short pass is caught for a gain of 6 by Jalen Bean. 2 tight ends set. It's a play action for Rush, and to the pylon, the pass caught. McGuire Moss down at the 1. And they will run it up the middle with Darius McIver. And the 0-7 Cowboys are up 7-0 on the UTEP Miners. How will we respond? It's a corner blitz leaving open Jimmy Childress, and he gains 12. It's a 3rd and 1, bunch set, stretch run, and cutting it inside is Raleek Brown, 1st down. 33-yard line, Belin looking short again, and breaking a tackle is Wanda Mae Davis, and he will move past the sticks. Here is a handoff again to Brown, breaking a tackle and speeding ahead to the 42. Belin now looking for his running back on a screen. It's Ty Clark III, and he has space in the middle of the field. We are up to the red zone. Going back to the screen game, here's a swing pass to Raleek, and he takes a hit at the 8-yard line. Want to conserve the contact he takes with the wear and tear. We're going to give it to him again, and he's swarmed on 3rd down. And we are forced to send the field goal unit out on 4th and 3. Here's the punter kicker, Noah Botsford, right through the middle of the uprights. And we still trail 7-3. Back on defense, we are going to force a quick 3 and out. Philip Rush overthrew his man. And we get the ball right back. Raleek Brown through another hole, hitting it hard, and past midfield to the 38. Raleek Brown, the Arizona State transfer, is a major home run hitter. He is not able to pick up the first on 3rd and 6, tackled inches short on the screen, and we will go for it this time. Sneaking forward is Rich Belin. Keeps the drive going, although we are pushed back by a holding penalty. 2nd and 20, and a great throw from Belin. It finds Davis on the post, setting up a 3rd and short. Another hole for Brown, right up the middle, up to the 4. 71 rushing yards for the senior. And the RPO bubble works to perfection. Wanda Mae Davis in the end zone. And it took a while, but we finally have the lead in Wyoming. Looking to take that momentum and run with it. But first we got to stop Darius McIver on the ground. That's another big chunk for him. Showing a double mug, dropping back into coverage. And rush down the sideline, caught! Bean keeps his feet in bounds. The safety couldn't get over in time. Philip Rush, panicking in the pocket, barely gets it away. And Wyoming has an injury on their offensive line. Long field goal attempt now. This is a 55-yarder and it's wide left. And now we can really put our foot on the gas with the touchdown here. Handoff, Raleek Brown. He's got the entire left side of the field to himself. Past the 40. And a 25-yard pickup for Raleek Brown. Into Cowboy territory, but the drive is going to stall out with the incompletion. And now Noah Botsford's range is really going to be tested. This is going to be short. And both kickers trade missed 50-plus yarders. You got to remember that kicking is not Botsford's main job. It is not what he's been training to do. He's just been stuck in that role out of necessity this year. Just got to make do with what we have. The kicking was never going to be perfect this season. And Wyoming might be driving. Philip Rush with a pair of nice deliveries. And at the 30-yard line, we stuff the read option. Echo Taylor containing the edge. And here's another field goal attempt for Eric Sandvik. 50 yards, and it's just wide right. He is 0 for 2. A lot of long field goals attempted in this game, and none of them have been successful. This is dropped right in the bucket for Raphael Campbell. 2-minute drill now for Rich Belin. That's one thing that our offense has been pretty solid at in our first 2 years of the series. Let's see if we can put some more points on the board before half, as Raleek Brown already over 100 yards rushing. Belin on the keeper. Doesn't quite get the first down, but gains 9. Under a minute now. Belin looking short, and he's got Cash Cheeks, who gets down past the sticks. First down at the 27. Beelin's pass caught by Davis. Another first down. Wandame Davis' 6th catch of the first half. And running the clock all the way down, this pass deflected. 3rd down and 9 at the 14. Belin going to the end zone. It's caught by Raleek Brown. They forgot about him. Lined up out wide. We just snuck him out there to the right. They didn't bother putting a corner on him, or anyone on him for that matter. The linebacker was way out of position, and we get a touchdown on the board to take a 10-point lead at the half. Raleek Brown has been our entire offense today pretty much. 103 yards on just 12 attempts and a touchdown through the air. A quick recruiting update. Dante Shakir, the 2-star defensive tackle we're targeting, has a new number 1 school, and it is UTEP. He has put us over Arkansas State, and we are still the only team to offer him a scholarship. Cam Clements, we have now unlocked his recruiting again after getting our championship contender grade to a C+, and he is in his top 5, nearing his top 3. We have a visit scheduled for week 11. We are in the driver's seat for the gadget receiver. However, we got to be careful because we do have a Power 4 team who can pounce at any moment. Arizona has also offered him a scholarship. We're also very close to a commitment from athlete running back Clay Weinstein. Wonder what his other skills will be. Could he potentially be a receiver running back hybrid for us, another minor back? And he is also visiting Week 11 to give Clements that complimentary boost. And lastly, checking in on our national recruiting ranking, we are still number 85, which is close to where we finished in last year's recruiting season. We have a 3-star, a 2-star, and 3 1-stars. I have talked about potentially changing the recruiting house rules after this season, but I'm sticking with them one more year, which means I can only sign 3 3-stars and 5 2-stars. And then the rest have to be 1-stars, which thankfully this year is not going to be that many of them because we have so few graduating seniors that we don't need to just fill out the back end of the roster with a bunch of 1-stars like we did last season. I've received feedback that maybe I should loosen up a little bit about that, as when you look at the actual recruiting classes for UTEP and a lot of schools in their tier, a lot of them are actually signing quite a bit of 3-stars. In fact, UTEP signed almost exclusively 3-stars in their 2025 class. I'm still hesitant to take the restriction off completely on 3-star recruiting because the purpose of my house rules wasn't necessarily about being hyper-realistic and more about not having an unfair advantage over CPU-controlled teams in this game. Because it doesn't really look to me like the mid-major CPU recruiting classes are that strong. A lot of them don't even have that many 3-stars. So ultimately what I'm going to do is just continue to monitor the strength of those group of 5 recruiting classes and see if a lot of teams are signing a lot of 3-stars. Because if they're doing that, then I probably give myself the liberty to do the same. Okay, that recruiting update went a little longer than expected, but back to the action in Laramie, Wyoming. Pressure on 3rd down, and Philip Rush is sacked and injured. Devin Harold was the man that got to him on the free safety blitz, and we'll have to monitor the status of Wyoming's starting quarterback. We get back on offense quickly, and Raleek Brown moves the chains. It's a speed option to left side. The pitch to Ty Clark gets to the edge and past the 1st down markers. Up to the Wyoming 27 already. Belin hitting his check down. Brown turning upfield and out of bounds at the 6. We're also dealing with a minor injury to left guard James Williams. He'll be back soon. Incomplete on 3rd down, and now our backup guard, Jerry Potts, is also hurt. Noah Botsford on for the field goal, and he'll miss it for the 2nd try in a row. Didn't push it enough to the right. And now, you got a question, should we still be trotting him out there at punter and kicker? Is the workload getting to him? By the way, Philip Rush is back out there, and he completes a play-action shot. If they actually score here, this could really get interesting. Darius McIver threw a big hole in the middle, and that's enough to get the 1st down at midfield. Rush looking short. That's Dion DeBlanc. 3rd down now. McIver motioning out. Rush back to pass. He'll look over the middle. He's got a tight end. That's Isaac Schoenfield beating Tay Brown on a nasty angle route. And all day to throw for Rush. He's hit from behind, finds Schoenfield, and he's hurt again. Philip Rush is down on the field for the 2nd time, and he'll have to leave. Sean Bush also injured. But now we get to see their backup quarterback for the first time, and it is the lefty Julian Duggar, who scrambles for a 1st down on his first play. The transfer from Washington State by way of Pittsburgh, faking out our lineman and tackled at the 3. Duggar with McIver to his left. He'll hand it to him on the draw, and we're all over it. Tay Brown with his 5th tackle, and we stop them short. They'll settle for an Eric Sandvik chip shot field goal to get within 7. We have not dominated these Cowboys the way that I thought we would and that I hoped we would. But that is a beautiful bullet pass laid in to Jimmy Childress. 3rd and 10. Here is Wandame Davis catching it underneath, running upfield, but tackled 1 yard short. And we will go for this 4th and 1. Belin to pass, and Campbell holds on through the hit. And we've got a fresh set of downs. 10:30 to go. Rich Belin on the run. He finds Campbell again. He has been one of our more reliable targets this year in the slot. But on 3rd down, the pass is deflected by a UTEP lineman's helmet, and Cam Weeks, our backup center, is now hurt. We are very banged up on the offensive line now. Another 50-yard attempt for Noah Botsford. He's 1 for 3. The kick is up, and it's again short. Noah Botsford's leg is running out of juice. And the kicking questions only get louder. We stay at 17 points. Nothing scored in the second half, but Stratton Schufelt sacks Julian Duggar. 3rd and 11, 3 high safeties for UTEP. Duggar doesn't care. He's going to go deep. The jump ball falls incomplete. Devin Harold on the coverage. We get the ball back. Rich Belin evading the pressure, running for his life. A totally broken play. Crossbody throw is picked off. What was that, Rich Belin? A terrible decision. I don't know who he thought he was on that play, but that is going into the season lowlight reel. First of all, Ellis Davis loses instantly, allowing immediate pressure. But if you're Rich Belin, you've got to throw this away. The last thing we need right now is for Wyoming, who is 0-7 and down to their backup quarterback, to have a momentum swing in their favor in a one-score game where we should really be winning by more. Big sack from Echo Taylor, and Duggar will deliver to Schoenfield. That's a gain of 11 and sets up a 3rd and manageable. We send pressure. Duggar down the field, batted up and intercepted. Devin Harold comes away with it off the deflection. And we get the ball right back. Our defense saves the day after the big blunder from Belin. This is a risky pass for Duggar. Jordan Shaw with great coverage, and Harold there for the tip drill. That's 2 weeks in a row with an interception off a deflection. You know how badly we struggled with interceptions in year 1, trying to change that narrative. Belin looking for redemption on this drive. It's a 3rd and 7. And the right read there, that's Noah Stevenson picking up the first. His first catch of the night. Here's Belin on 2nd down. That was risky. Deflected. Could have been intercepted again. 3rd down. Pass is incomplete. Great coverage from Courtney Collins. And he honestly could have picked off that one too. Not the best stretch for Belin as McIver goes up and over the grounded defender. Gain of 7. Here's Duggar, not afraid to let loose and overthrowing his man. By the way, Philip Rush is out for the game with a strained tricep. Not to mention they're missing their top defensive player, Alexander Kilgore. Big 3rd down, pressure, and Duggar has to throw it away. It was Shaquan Bowser bothering him on the play. And a 4th down and 3 with Wyoming down 7. More pressure. A deep shot is deflected. Incomplete. Cedric Beavers turns the Cowboys over on downs. It has been a second half full of missed opportunities for both teams. Wyoming now using their timeouts. 3rd and 3, and they stop Ty Clark short. And with our kicking troubles today, we keep the offense out, and we want to end this right here. It's a jet sweep. Raphael Campbell to the edge. He gets there. 1st down, UTEP. Wyoming uses their final timeout, but it's under 2 minutes, and Rich Belin can kneel it out. A sloppy, ugly road win that honestly could have gone either way. We did not score in the second half. Wyoming could only muster 3 points in the second half. For a team with conference championship aspirations, that is not the showing that we want to have. But hey, a win is a win. We move on. Rich Belin, 28 for 43, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He definitely had some nice throws in this one, but some bad ones as well. including the blooper reel interception. Wandame Davis played very well with 69 yards and a touchdown. Raleek Brown carried us in the first half. Couldn't do much for us in the second half, though. The game was won by our defense in the second half, sacking Philip Rush and Julian Duggar a handful of times, getting tons of deflections on the deep shots. The interception was huge, and I'm honestly very proud of how the defense responded to the adversity today. Of course, we can't skip over the kicking struggles from Noah Botsford. Granted, 2 of the 3 attempts he missed were from 50 plus, and we already know that he's a punter kicking, and the game gives us a power penalty for that, which gets more or less severe unpredictably. That's already a recipe for disaster. He missed the chip shot, which is pretty inexcusable considering we had trust in his accuracy, and that's why he was in the game as a kicker. We'll have to monitor this situation and see if Botsford can bounce back next week. If not, we might have to bench him. UTEP moves to 5-3 with the win, and we do level up Coach Aaron Jones. We will put some points into the wide receiver tight end ratings boosts. We'll first upgrade their run blocking. Dante Shakir has moved into his top 5 stage, and we can now give him some pitches. We'll give him 2 soft cells. Thankfully, he cares about playing style, and we are the perfect fit if he wants to be somewhere that stops the run. Before we get into our next game, I wanted to update you guys on the wear and tear sliders that I've been experimenting with. Obviously, we've had a problem with running back wear and tear in this series. Raleek Brown is already nearly depleted, and we had the same thing happen to Hassan Wilson last year. I did not nerf wear and tear, especially for normal tackles, nearly enough to start the season. And as you can see here now, I've gotten much more aggressive in doing that now, especially now that Matt 10's sliders on Operation Sports also reflect this. I know Mr. Hurricane is also working on his own wear and tear system, and if you watch his Arkansas State Dynasty, he has a really cool philosophy when it comes to crafting these sliders because he's aiming to make the whole process slower and less extreme. We see a lot of players taking wear and tear damage during games, and we also see them recovering from that damage in the same game, which I don't think is very realistic. Taking that a step further, what I've also realized is that setting the recoveries super high is not a good counter to the heavy wear and tear damage, because guess what? That's going to deplete the season and career bars very quickly, because those are tied to how much those players have to recover, not necessarily to the damage they take. I think of the wear and tear bars as more of a health bar, at least that's my theory. I think the most important thing here is not to limit the damage that's taken on a game-to-game basis, but to slow down the speed at which those bars deplete. So I don't fully know if this works yet, but my method right now is to set a low damage rate and a low recovery rate. Hopefully that yields good results. I think we might be a little bit late to save Raleek Brown, but he is a senior, and I'm mainly hoping that this helps the long-term health of our younger players. In our next game of today's 3-game special, we're taking on Nevada. We try to make it a 4-1 conference play start against a team that is 3-5 and 2-2 in conference play, so the Wolfpack are a better team than Wyoming. That does reflect in the overall rating as well. They were having a really rough go at things this season, as their only win was over FCS Northwest until a couple weeks ago when they started a 2-game winning streak that they take into today. The Wolfpack are 66 overall, and they're led by Sam Horn, who apparently has a pretty extreme case of vitiligo. Just wait until you see what his player card looks like. Yep, that's the same guy, Sam Horn, from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He has a cannon arm, but not very mobile, only 76 speed. Brett Norfleet is their highest rated player on the roster, a tight end at 85 overall, very well-rounded. And they've got plenty of other solid players, but no other real standouts. So here we go in Nevada, as the Wolfpack will kick off to Raphael Campbell. He is going to take this from the goal line. Through the middle. He's got a crease. Nobody's in front of him. Raphael Campbell, 20-10. Touchdown on the opening kickoff. That was just a beautifully executed team blocking effort. No one even got within like 5 feet of Raphael Campbell that entire play. Everybody on the kickoff team did their job here. Shout out to Garrett Hawkins and TJ Tillman with the dominant double team. And then look at Cash Cheeks just shooting up the middle and sealing off the most dangerous defender. We escort Campbell right to the end zone, and what was that PAT from Noah Botsford? I wanted to give him another chance to redeem himself after last week, but man, that out-of-position penalty is really starting to show with him. First chance for the Nevada offense as Sam Horn gains 8 on the scramble. They've got an injured offensive lineman on the play, and no wonder, because just look at the size difference between him and Sean Bush. I mean, he doesn't even stand a chance. He literally looks like a wide receiver playing offensive line. That is hilarious. 3rd and 2 for Sam Horn. Empty backfield. Pressure from the right side. He is sacked. Messiah Delhomme brings him down and forces the punt. Couldn't ask for a better start to this one as Taylor Perez back to receive. Starts in the middle, breaks to the right, and gets a big chunk into Nevada territory. That'll go down as a 25-yard punt return for Taylor Perez. Rich Belin getting a chance to redeem himself after a shaky performance last week. Luckily, we still got the win. He'll start with an easy completion to Cash Cheeks. Staying with the screen game, here's Mason Ferguson. Well blocked, and Ferguson is in the end zone. We have not called his name very much. He is pretty far down the depth chart, but his rating is not too much lower than the guys who are starting over him. Mason Ferguson just showed us bursts that I did not know he had, taking that screen pass all the way to the house. The reason he's been buried on the depth chart is really because I've had to get Eduardo Polanco and Jimmy Childress in the game so we meet their deal breakers. But maybe we should look at giving Ferguson a little bit more run. And that PAT from Noah Botsford looked a lot better than the last one. And we immediately force a 3 and out. Taylor Perez fields another punt. Now breaks it out to the left and back inside. He's going to fake out the punter, and he is brought down from behind. Another electric play from our return specialist, Taylor Perez. And we are dominating the special teams battle so far. Up 14-0. Here's an 11-yard carry for Belin. And we're in scoring range yet again. Wandame Davis inside the hash marks. Takes it past the markers. First down at the 9. Here is Belin. Dropping back and back. Drifting to the left. Nothing materializing, and he barely gets that one away. He's got to be careful there. He was nearly sacked for a massive loss. All right, Noah, you're on thin ice. 26-yard field goal. Oh, my goodness, it's off the crossbar. Noah, you're giving me no choice. I just can't accept this anymore. The Noah Botsford kicker experiment has now officially failed. And I can't believe it, but we're now going to have to rely on a 55 overall true freshman kicker in Lee Alfaro. Thankfully, that happened while we're up by 2 scores, and we're going to get the ball right back. Our defense is on fire to start this one. Taylor Perez, he has been dangerous, darting through defenders, and somehow gets a 21-yard return out of absolutely nothing. Man, our kick returners are absolutely dialed in today as Raleek Brown turns on the afterburners for a 28-yard pickup on his first carry of the game. and more favorable field position for the Miners. And Jaylen Brown goes up and gets that ball. Great catch, and he's up to the 7. 2 tight ends set. It is Brown bouncing it outside, headed for the pylon, and he knocks it over, but they say his knee was down at the 1. Just a football's length away, and Belin sneaks it in. 3 first-quarter touchdowns for the Miner offense. 21-zip. Sam Horn looking to respond. He's got time in the pocket, standing in there, and he's brought down by Sean Bush. Nothing going right for Nevada. 3rd and 12, final play of the quarter. Horn will unleash down the numbers. It is caught! Touchdown! Marquise Ashley, the 5'7", 166-pound senior, just won a jump ball against Cedric Beavers. Unbelievable. Boy, did Nevada need that shot in the arm. They're on the board as Eduardo Polanco gets into the open field. Man, he's slow, but he sure doesn't let that stop him. Rich Belin, 2nd and 11 near midfield, on the money to Jaylen Brown, but Raphael Campbell injured away from the play. Jet sweep on 3rd. It is Wandame Davis getting just enough. Elbow bursitis for Campbell. He'll be back soon. Belin looking in the intermediate range. He's got Brown once more. 3rd catch of the day. Nearing the red zone. Belin looking short. He's got Davis. And a solid pickup. 5th catch for Wandame. Airing it out quite a bit so far in this first half, but Belin's going to keep it on the ground this time, and he's up to the 3-yard line on the keeper. Threatening to score our 4th touchdown. It is Ty Clark bouncing off a defender and walking into the end zone. 28-7 UTEP on top in Reno. This looks like a totally different offense than we saw in Wyoming. Horn completes a pass over the middle to Marshawn Brown. Now faking the handoff, he's keeping it. Horn goes for a gain of 8. 3rd and short. He's going to hand this off to his running back, who gets to the outside and picks up the 1st down and more. That is Bryce Duke, who had been in the negatives up until that pickup. There is the tight end, Brett Norfleet, getting vertical for the catch. As we send pressure on 2nd and 14, Horn has Norfleet, and he is off to the races. Nevada scores their 2nd touchdown, and that keeps the Wolfpack within striking distance. Excellent route from Norfleet, by the way, just destroying Devin Harold in coverage. 2:30 to go in the half. We've got the numbers advantage on the left side as Jaylen Brown takes a screen for a 1st down. Out of the 2-minute warning, Belin with a deep drop and lays it in for Jaylen Brown. What a half for him. He's up to the Nevada 31. He's having one of his best first half performances of the season. Mason Ferguson already scored a touchdown, looking for another, and he's out of bounds at the 3. But Mason Ferguson is making his presence felt on this game. Speed option right side. Raleek Brown has an easy touchdown. 5 first half scores for UTEP. And here's our first look at Lee Alfaro. The freshman kicker nails his first PAT attempt of the season. That looked good, but we'll have to see how his accuracy holds up in the long term. Sam Horn has all day to throw, and he's got a wide open man. Ashley lost the defense, and he's got the Wolfpack into the red zone. They spike it as they look for a score at the buzzer here in the 2nd quarter. Pass caught short, and breaking tackles is Peter Fleck before he's brought down in bounds. Nevada with no timeouts, but they are able to spike. And from 29 yards out, Daniel Feliciano knocks down the field goal, and we will head to the locker rooms up 35-17. Look at the passing numbers for both of these teams, both over 200 yards already. A night and day difference from the Wyoming game. 3rd and 10 as Nevada starts with the ball, but they'll get rid of it quickly. Ashley tackled short of the sticks. And Taylor Perez, what has he got in store for us this time? He's got a lane to the outside, 50, 40. He's got the punter to beat, and he upends him at the 36-yard line. I can't believe how many punts I've had to keep in this game in the editing process. Taylor Perez is always a threat to make a big play. 3rd and 12 for our offense, and it's incomplete from Belin, but I think the refs missed a pretty egregious pass interference call. Jimmy Childress was hacked well before the ball got to him. But regardless, we do get to see the first field goal from Lee Alfaro, and it is no good. He pushed it left. He, of course, had the power, but man, when your accuracy is in the 50s, that arrow can be really deceiving in this game. We just do not have a reliable option at kicker, and we're going to have to live with that for the rest of the season, it seems. Rich Belin to Jimmy Childress, and he one-hands that while at a standstill. Never a dull moment with him. 3rd and 6 at the 36. Angle route to perfection. Raleek Brown cuts inside, and he scores! Raleek Brown, are you serious? He already picked up a big first down, running a great route, but he was not done. He had 3 guys closing in on him after the catch, and he escaped like he was Houdini. Just take another look at this. A triangle of defenders, and he just finds the smallest crease and hits it hard. The defense had no answer for that, and the Miners have hung up 42 points on the board. Brett Norfleet making a big play after the catch. He's past the 50, and he's over 100 yards on the night. Horn swarmed, but great job evading the pressure and delivering that pass. First down, Nevada, and here's another chain-moving reception for Marquise Ashley. 1:20 to go in the 3rd. They give us a little misdirection, but we are not fooled. 3-yard loss. Stratton Schufelt brings him down. Horn on 3rd down. Taking his time, but nobody open. TJ Tillman all over the receiver. And Nevada will have to settle for a field goal to cut the lead to 22. Fast forwarding to halfway through the quarter, the score has not changed. Sam Horn looking for his tight end down the field. It's caught. Brett Norfleet is having the game of his life. Unfortunately, his teammates are not really helping him out, but he rises up over the double coverage and makes an amazing catch. 4th down and 3 for Nevada, and another great pass breakup by TJ Tillman. He's having a very nice game today, breaking on the ball at the perfect time. And we deny Nevada a chance at points. Just got to take care of the football now as Belin finds Cash Cheeks over the middle. Nearing the 2-minute timeout, here is Ty Clark. Picks up the first down. And we're going to have him finish out this game. No need to jeopardize Raleek Brown's health. He has got space on the outside. A really nice showing from Clark in this game. We're hoping he can be potentially our lead back next season once Raleek Brown is graduated. That's another physical run up the middle, and he caps off this game by getting to 46 rushing yards. A comfortable win on the road for the Miners, and this is a really nice redemption game after a shaky showing in Wyoming. We won the game in all facets from the very first play of the game. An opening kickoff touchdown, and we dominated on offense, defense, and special teams the whole rest of the way, except for the field goal kicking, of course. But I will take this Rich Belin performance any day. 20 of 30, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And we had 3 different rushing touchdowns from 3 different players. Mason Ferguson had his big breakout with the touchdown and got close to having another. And the one other facet of the game where we did struggle was the pass defense. Sam Horn got his fair share of yards. Brett Norfleet was very hard for us to defend. And overall, we do need to work on covering tight ends. But at the end of the day, when we're up by as many points as we were this game, the other team is going to be passing the ball a whole lot. They had to abandon the run early, and when they did go to the run, we absolutely stuffed it. No one on their team got more than 13 rushing yards, and that was the quarterback Horn. Bryce Duke, the 80 overall running back, was absolutely swallowed up by our front 7. Week 10 is the first week of the college football playoff rankings, so why don't we take a look at how things are shaping up nationally. First of all, Texas Tech has 1 loss on the season, but they are number 11, looking for a second straight playoff appearance. Not far behind them is Oklahoma State, though, and those two look destined to face each other in the conference championship. Alabama just handed Texas their 3rd loss of the year, and the Crimson Tide are 8-1. They did get Noah Fafita at quarterback in the transfer portal, and he's playing well this season, and he's got a very good running back in Mark Fletcher beside him. But the number 1 team in the land remains the Georgia Bulldogs, as they defeat last year's championship runner-ups, Florida. What a game it was for Gunnar Stockton, outplaying DJ Lagway. But there's one other major player in the SEC, and that is Ole Miss, still undefeated with the win over Missouri. Granted, they probably should have beat them by more, as Missouri's only 1-8. Sitting all the way back at number 12 is undefeated UCLA. The national media does not like this team for whatever reason, but they continue to creep up the rankings slowly, most recently with a win over Michigan on the road. Nico Iamaleava is dialed in. He's having as efficient of a quarterback season as anybody. Ohio State returns from a 1-year hiatus. They're right back in the picture with a 44-10 win over Iowa. Still, the Buckeyes are behind the undefeated Penn State and UCLA in the conference. Moving on to the ACC, Duke remains dominant. They were undefeated heading into the playoff last year, and they might do that again. Number 4 in the country with a big win over Georgia Tech. SMU is a dark horse to win the conference. They were undefeated heading into this week, but they ended up blowing a 12-point fourth quarter lead against Notre Dame. Pretty bad way to lose, but Notre Dame is very good. Both of these teams could make the playoff. But of course, you can't forget about the Miami Hurricanes, who are number 3 at 9-1 and just beat number 9 Clemson on the road. The ACC is honestly loaded this year. I think they are the best conference in the country. And here's the bracket. If the season ended today, the top 4 seeds are Georgia, Penn State, Duke, and Miami. Ole Miss is the 5 seed. Tulane is still the favorite to get the group of 5 bid. And somehow UCLA is not in here despite being undefeated. Checking back in on the Mountain West, you can see New Mexico is still undefeated in conference play as they beat San Jose State. Hawaii Air Force and UTEP were the other teams to get wins this week. But keep in mind, the New Mexico Lobos are the last team on our schedule this year. We are playing them in the finale, potentially with conference championship implications on the line. When it comes to purely skill position talent, the Lobos don't really wow you rating-wise. Their quarterback is only 74 overall. Their running back is 77, but he just had a very good game. Their best weapon is actually their tight end, Jordan Harris, and he got 2 touchdowns in the win this week. We will definitely have that game against them circled, especially if we keep this winning streak up. On to week 11, and we start off with a commitment from 2-star running back Clay Weinstein. He ended up committing before his visit was even scheduled. He'll still be coming to the next game with Cam Clements to give him that complimentary boost. The bad news is that these playing style deal breakers are a little bit alarming right now, especially for defensive backs, as we are allowing 270 defensive pass yards per game. That is 82nd in the country. If we can bring that number down, that would be great, because right now, Jordan Shaw and Messiah Delhomme are both threatening to transfer to a school who can better utilize their talent. We still have a few recruiting battles to close out, but a lot of them are getting pretty close to the end. Dante Shakir, the nose tackle, has a pretty favorable ideal pitch, as he has an A+ playing style grade for us due to the fact that we are allowing as little rushing yards as any team in the country. And then I've also been looking at potentially getting a new kicker. Last time we recruited a 1-star kicker, it did not go well for us. Lee Alfaro, of course, has very low accuracy, and I'm looking for a replacement right away. Alex Genus has the power archetype, and we have already uncovered his kick accuracy, which at 69 is way better than Lee Alfaro's. And since he has the power archetype, we know his power is going to be at least a little bit above that. So we will be sending the house for a new kicker. And we finally made it to our third game of the episode, and that is against the Northern Illinois Huskies, the other team to join the Mountain West Conference this season. And they have had much less immediate success than we have. They beat FCS Midwest and lost every other game. Granted, they did just put up a pretty strong fight against Hawaii. They also scored 31 points on UNLV, but it's really been their defense that has failed them, as they have allowed at least 38 points in 7 of their 9 games. We'll have to worry about a dangerous duo of running backs here, both by the name of Johnson Jr. Chris Johnson Jr., who is not related to that Chris Johnson, scored 2 touchdowns last week, while Telly Johnson Jr. scored 1. These two backs have pretty similar skill sets. They're both shifty, but Telly is a little bit stronger between the tackles, while Chris Johnson Jr. is a straight-up burner. He has 94 speed, 97 acceleration, chip off the old block. He came here from SMU, and before that he played at Miami. Here is the rest of their roster. They only have 2 other guys rated 80+ other than those 2 running backs. We'll start with the QB though, Jalen Macon, who has a pretty well-rounded skill set, pretty accurate, but struggles under pressure. The Huskies actually have 3 really good running backs, but Qua Ashley is injured, and we will not see him. And their top defensive player is Will linebacker Mac Uline. Hopefully I said that right. Solid in coverage and a great tackler. One last adjustment before we get started here. I'm actually making a change to the cornerback depth chart. Jordan Shaw is now going to be listed at the number 2 cornerback position, while Cedric Beavers will move up to number 1. The reason is actually because the game puts the number 1 and number 2 corners on the wrong side, so that the number 2 corner is always matched up with the number 1 receiver and vice versa. I want Jordan Shaw guarding the other team's best outside receiver all the time. And ironically, the only way to do that is by putting him at number 2. So there you go. And one more time in this episode, we're live from the Sun Bowl. Jalen Macon takes an empty shotgun snap and completes to Dane Partridge, their top receiver. First down, NIU, and that pass deflected and we can't get to it. That spent a long time in the air, but falls just out of our reach. And making the catch on the drag is Mitch Drew, the tight end. Into UTEP territory. Jalen Macon on 3rd and 4, pressured and throws it away. Took a while to get pressure, but the coverage held up the whole time. Nick Mooney will attempt and make a 51-yard field goal to get things started. First look at the offense in this game. Belin in the shotgun, fakes, and is brought down for a 5-yard sack. Mason Goldman holding contain. 2nd and 15. Belin with time to throw. Dropping all the way back to the goal line. Now advancing and completing. Raleek Brown down the sideline. Picks up a couple blocks. And he's gone! Touchdown! Raleek Brown continues to give us highlights. And this one might have been his magnum opus. It's a complete scramble drill. He was not supposed to be involved in this play whatsoever, but he saw Rich Belin in trouble and came all the way across the field. And then when he's got the ball in open space, the defense has already lost. Take a bow, Raleek Brown. That is an 86-yard receiving touchdown, and we're up 7-3. They run the ball on 3rd and 10 with Chris Johnson Jr. They don't pick it up, and they'll punt it away. Danny Vukovic is going to pin us at the 1-yard line. Could not have punted that any better. We do get a little bit of breathing room, and then Mason Ferguson cannot pick up the first down. He has seen an increased role during this episode. That one looked like it might go, but it just didn't. Our defense is playing lights out, though. Here's Sean Bush just exploding through the line of scrimmage for the run stuff. 3rd down and 14 for Macon. Navigating to his right, and the pass is knocked away from the receiver. And we again force them to punt near midfield. Vukovic's punt is not quite as good this time. That'll go down as a 21-yarder. First down at the 30. Belin is going to run over a man in the backfield, and he is loose for a first down run. Rich Belin doing his best Cam Newton impression, and the defender is going to be laughed at in the film session next week. 3rd and 9 for Belin, looking for the corner, and he overshot Raphael Campbell. Injury to our center, Alan McCarter, as our thin offensive line gets thinner. Macon is going to unleash down the right side. Jump ball is broken up. Cedric Beavers on his correct side of the field plays that go route perfectly. And we get the ball back. Raleek Brown just playing at a different speed than everybody else. He is loose for a first down run. Gets out of bounds to avoid the hit. 3rd and 12. Over the middle, it's Cash Cheeks on the catch. Rich Belin over 100 yards passing early in the second quarter. Rich floating around in the pocket, now cutting upfield. He will pick up 19 yards on the run. He really hasn't had that many crazy scramble plays this season, but he certainly has the athleticism for it. Marcus Torres makes the catch and is tackled just 1 yard shy. Stopped on the first 2 plays. We go to the air on 3rd and goal. Belin wheeling to his left, and he's in the end zone. Another touchdown for the Miners, and they're up 14-3. Our offense has looked pretty darn good since that Wyoming game. 3rd and 5, Macon pressured up the middle, gets it to his tight end, but coming down for the big tackle is Messiah Delhomme, and that play was really forced by Shaquan Bowser just wrestling the O-lineman to the turf and forcing Macon to get rid of it early. First down pass caught. Jalen Brown moves the sticks. 28 seconds left in the half. Score still 14-3. Wandame Davis catches it underneath and turns ahead. No more timeouts left now. 8 on the clock. Belin forced out of the pocket, moving to his right, and he will run for the first down, setting up a shorter field goal for Lee Alfaro. Can he redeem himself? The kick is up and good. It's much easier to kick field goals at home. And Lee Alfaro gives us a 17-3 lead at the half. Our defense has been absolutely lights out. Only 9 rushing yards allowed, and we have limited the big pass plays as well. Raleek Brown with more yards up the middle. And we start the second half strong. Shotgun snap and a bubble screen pass to Campbell, and he nearly picks up the first down. We eventually do, and we go right back to the bubble game. Davis through a crease, and he's in the open field. Shakes out a man, and he's tackled at the 9-yard line. Our receivers have demonstrated great after-the-catch ability in this episode. Another explosive screen pass. Another screen, this time to a running back, and that's the 3rd stringer, Lance Barnes. And finishing this drive off is Ty Clark III. Touchdown UTEP, and they lead 24-3 in the 3rd. Can the defense keep this up? Macon throws the RPO slant at the last possible second. First down. Fakes the handoff and delivers to Partridge. Right in front of the safety. Excellent throw from Macon. He will fake the handoff and keep it this time on the option, and we weren't ready for that. Macon for a first down. And here is Partridge on the reception. A whiffed tackle. And Partridge has NIU in the red zone. What is this formation now? 3 backs with their hands in the dirt. And they toss it to the middle one. He is loose! Touchdown, NIU! Taking it back to the roots with an old school formation. I believe that's called the T formation. I don't know, because it's not like you see that in modern day football ever. Looked like Cedric Beavers was just as confused as me, as he had the edge responsibility on that play and did not have his eyes where they were supposed to be. 24-10, as we are in the fourth quarter already, still with a comfortable lead. Raleek Brown trying to ensure that we keep that lead. First down. Belin with a strike to Wandame Davis. He is dialed in yet again, 15 of 19 today. He'll hand off to Raleek, and he crosses the plane. Another touchdown, and another great performance for Brown. Back up to a 3-touchdown lead. We have the ball with 2:35 to go. Ty Clark breaks a tackle up the middle. He goes all the way. And the Miners tack on one more before we get up out of here. Nice to see Ty Clark break off a big play. It's usually Brown, but Clark is a guy that we really want to see succeed, as he has a chance to be more of a contributor next year. This is a preview of what he can bring to the table, power and speed. 38-10 the final score. UTEP dominates for the 4th straight game. And they advance to 7-3 on the year, behind a great performance from Rich Belin, as well as the running backs and pretty much everybody on the defense. There was not much negatives to take away from this game, only allowing 222 total yards, keeping the negative plays to a minimum, no turnovers. And how about Ty Clark with a breakout performance? 5.6 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. Felt like in the past when he was in the game, we wouldn't have as productive of a run game, much less big play potential. He showed he's capable of more today. So far, it has been a successful year 2, building off of the momentum that we created down the stretch of year 1 and doing it with a whole new roster. Our only losses are to Michigan, Oklahoma, and the team that I think is the best in the conference, which is Hawaii. Not bad at all, but we gotta finish strong. 3 games remain in the regular season, and we've gotta be in our best behavior if we want to make the conference championship. And wouldn't you know it, my theory of Hawaii being better than New Mexico was just confirmed, as the Lobos do suffer their first conference loss at the hands of the Rainbow Warriors. And that means there are no more undefeated teams in conference play, which means that the championship is up for grabs. It could be any combination of New Mexico, Hawaii, UTEP, and UNLV. Alabama just had a big showdown with Ole Miss and suffered their second loss of the season as Ole Miss remains undefeated. The other big matchup this week was Duke versus Clemson, and it was the Blue Devils reigning supreme, 31-26. Here is the Week 12 Top 25. Georgia, Duke, Penn State, and Ole Miss are the top 4 teams now. UCLA also gets another win, and with that, they are now in the playoff picture. The Heisman race is currently a race between 2 receivers, London Humphreys of Georgia and Ryan Williams of Alabama. Looks like a couple weeks ago, Humphreys actually leapfrogged Williams for the top spot. He's got 14, 18 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns in 11 games. That is fantastic. And we will start off the new week with a big-time commitment from maybe our most prized defensive recruit, Khalid Claiborne, the edge defender from Minneapolis. Is the second 3-star to commit to us this year after Miles Isaac, the tackle, and we're still waiting on the decision from Cam Clements, but he is favoring us heavily. And I think the main reason for that is we have really gotten our championship contender grade up in recent weeks. We are now up to the 34th strongest grade in the country. What a difference a 4-game winning streak can make. 3-3 to 7-3. But we are going to be going on the road next week against Air Force. We have never played a team quite like this. They're only 3-3 in Mountain West play, but they are trending upwards as of late, with 3 consecutive wins over Yukon, Army, and Wyoming. And everybody knows about how the service academies play football. Everybody knows about the triple option, the flex bone formations. Air Force gets the least coverage of the 3, as it's not like they play in the Army-Navy game every season. But they have really put the country on notice this year, playing the most extreme brand of smash-mouth football by a wide margin. They pass for only 52 yards per game. That's 40 less than the next lowest. Meanwhile, they run for the most yards in the country, 229 per game. On defense, it's the same thing. It's not like they're playing teams that play the same way as them. But through a combination of ball control and physicality, they allow just 169.7 pass yards per game. And they also have the most interceptions in the conference with 11. This is not going to be an easy game for us, especially on the road with a true freshman quarterback. We've seen him really protect the ball well in some games and lose control in others. Which Rich Belin are we going to get next week? And talent-wise, Air Force is not lacking at all. They actually might have the deepest roster in the entire conference. 71 overall, 74 on defense. Their quarterback is Braden Locke. They don't use him a lot, but he's a guy that used to play at Wisconsin. He has the arm and the accuracy to catch the defense off guard with a deep ball every once in a while. Look at his stats, though. He has really not done that a whole lot this year. 43 for 99. This team, of course, relies on their running backs more than any other team, and they've got a very good group, starting with Jambris Dubar. Then Rayshawn Luke has 99 speed out of the backfield. And then a very solid number 3 in Devon Rice. He's also pretty shifty. But of course, with teams like this, you can't forget about the fullback, because Owen Allen doesn't just get the ball every once in a while. He leads the team in rushing yards. 83 overall, Owen Allen. He plays like a wrecking ball, Mike Allstott-like almost. Not much of a blocker, but he can really tote the rock. What an exciting thunder and lightning backfield this team has. I would really be interested in doing a service academy rebuild at some point. But honestly, outside of the backfield, there's not a ton of top-end players. Owen Chambliss is a good linebacker, but I expected their offensive line to be better than it is. Their secondary is really nothing to write home about either. But who am I kidding? They do have 11 interceptions after all. Make no mistake, this team is definitely going to be a challenge. But ultimately, I would take this position any day. 12 weeks into the season, we sit atop the Mountain West at 5-1 in conference play, 7-3 in total. And these last 2 weeks are going to be pivotal in deciding who will go to the conference championship, with the number 1 spot right now and also the tiebreaker over UNLV, and then a chance to get the tiebreaker over New Mexico when we play them at the end of the year. We control our destiny. If we win out, we will host the championship game. If we go 2-1, we do still have a chance. But things get a little tricky, especially if that loss comes to New Mexico and they end up winning out. They will get in over us. But overall, I would still say we have a solid chance at making it in. New Mexico will be playing against UNLV on the road when we face Air Force. Thankfully for us, that is not a guaranteed win at all for the Lobos, as UNLV gave us a really tough game. But if they do win that game against UNLV, that's only going to make our end of season meeting even more high stakes. Meanwhile, we can't forget about Hawaii, as they're only half a game behind New Mexico right now, and they just beat them, so they do own the tiebreaker. Hawaii faces Nevada in Week 12. That should be a win, as Nevada is 3-7, and Hawaii's been playing very well as of late. So they have a chance to take the top spot in the conference with a win. It is going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. It could go in so many different directions. I know these bowl projections usually aren't very accurate at this point in the season, but as of now, we are projected to participate in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl against Jacksonville State, an old Conference USA neighbor of ours. And with the win last week to get us to 7-3, that all but guarantees another bowl game appearance for us for the second straight year. I wanted to close out this episode by taking a quick look at our team stats for the year. We currently have the 4th best offense in the conference yardage-wise. UNLV currently has the best by far, and we are also number 4 in both passing yardage and rushing yardage. Defensively, we have the 2nd lowest yardage allowed behind Air Force, so look for that to be a defensive grinder next week. Thankfully, our win over Northern Illinois was good for our passing yards allowed average, as that's down to 261, still only 5th in the conference. But where we really excel is in the run game, allowing only 603 yards, and that is, of course, way better than anybody else in the conference. It is inflated by our sack number, which is also the top number in the conference, 32. We may not have the highest rated defensive linemen, but they get the job done. And so far, with the added talent in the back end this season, we have built on the foundation that we started in year 1 and created an even stronger version of that defense. But that is where we stand heading into our Week 12 matchup against Air Force, and it will be an important one. I will finish out the rest of the regular season next episode. We'll go through the Air Force and the New Mexico games and see if we end up getting into the conference championship. What an accomplishment that would be to make the championship game in our first year in the conference. It would certainly be a testament to our growth in just 2 short seasons. But hope you guys enjoyed that 3-game special. I tried to edit it down to a digestible length, but it still ended up being more than an hour. I guess I just talked too much in between games. I don't know how to cut down on that. But anyway, thank you for making it through the video if you did. Please leave some feedback for me in the comments section. And of course, if you like what you see, I would appreciate a like and a subscription with post notifications turned on just to stay updated. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one when we finish out the regular season of year 2.